Alright, this is worksheet 7.3, and it's going to go over law of cosines. Law of cosines is really just about plugging into the formulas and knowing how to use your calculators. So these first two formulas on your worksheet will give you how to find all your sides. Just remember that each one of these is a c squared, b squared, a squared. So at the very end of your problem, you have to remember to take the square root of whatever your answer was. These three equations over here are how we find all of our angles. And again, at the very end, because you're looking for angles, you're going to have to remember the second cosine, whatever your answer was. So on this worksheet, I had y'all complete everything except for 21 on the front, so we got rid of 21. On the back, we got rid of number 25, and I got rid of the word problem 35. On the next sheet, on 37, I got rid of part C. On 39, I took off part B, and then I also wanted you to go ahead and complete 41. So I'm going to do a few problems off the worksheet for you so you have something to look back at as you're studying or trying to complete your homework. So I'm going to divide my paper up a little bit so that it's a little bit neater for me. And the first problem I'm going to start with is number 9. So on number 9, they want me to go solve the triangle. As we're solving the triangle, I have to find my missing side B, and I have to find my missing angles alpha and gamma. So the first thing I'm going to do is go find side B. And to find side B, I'm going to use the formula up here at the top of the paper. And it says that B squared will equal A squared plus C squared minus 2 times A times C times cosine of B. And we remember from last week that A is always opposite the alpha. So if alpha is here, that means 2 is my A. We learned that B is always opposite the beta, so this must be my beta. And we also learned that gamma is always opposite the C. So here's my C. So now it's real easy to go plug in. It says take A squared, so I'm going to write down 2 squared. They want me to add C squared, so I'll put plus 4 squared. Then it says minus 2 times A times C times cosine of beta. So I simply pick up my calculator, I check real quick that I'm in degree mode, and I am, and I'm going to type in exactly what I see. So I see 2 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 parentheses 2 times 4 close parentheses times cosine of 45 when I hit enter. Now remember, 8.686 blah 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 is B squared, and I want B. So what I have to remember to go do is take the square root of my answer. So square root of second answer. Remember, your answer button is down here at the bottom above the negative, so you do second negative, and then I type in enter, and I get 2.95. So B equals 2.95. Okay, B's done. Now I have to decide whether I want to go find alpha or gamma. I'm going to choose to find alpha for no particular reason other than A comes before C. So cosine of alpha equals, I'm using this formula right here, B squared plus C squared minus A squared. So I just found my B. So 2.95 squared plus C squared minus A squared, all divided by parentheses 2 times B times C. Okay, so the hardest part about this problem is just learning how to type it in your calculator. So when we type this in, I do this in 2 steps. I do the top, I hit enter, then I divide it by the bottom, I hit enter, and then I get my angle. So I'm going to do the top first, 2.95 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 squared, and I hit enter. Then I put divided by, you have to put the parentheses or you'll get this answer wrong. 2 times 2.95 times 4 close parentheses. Now remember, I'm not finished until I second cosine my answer when I'm looking for an angle. So second cosine, second answer. So my angle for alpha is 28.69 degrees. So here's alpha and here's b. The only thing left I have to find is gamma. And the easy thing about gamma is I know a whole triangle has to add up to 180. So I know one of my angles is 28.69, plus I know beta was 45. So all I have to do is take this answer and subtract it from 180. So my missing angle, my gamma, is 106.31 degrees. So gamma equals 106.31 degrees. Again, I took the two angles that I know, 45 and 28.69. I added those together right here. Got 73.69 and then subtracted that from 180 because that's how many degrees are in a triangle. And that's 9. Number 11 is going to work the exact same way. So let's come down and look at 13. So on problem 13, this time they give me all the sides and I need to go find all the angles. So we just have to decide again where A, B, and C are and then plug in. If alpha is over here in the right hand corner, then opposite that is my A. Beta is in the left hand corner, so opposite that is B, which leaves 8 to be C. I'm going to start off the same way. I'm going to go find alpha first. So my formula for alpha, we wrote at the top of our paper, says we're going to do b squared plus c squared minus a squared divided by 2 times b times c. So cosine of alpha equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared, all divided by 2 times b times c. And again, the hardest part about this is just typing it in your calculator correctly. So I'm going to type in the numerator first, 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 6 squared, hit enter, divided by, remember to put those parentheses, 2 times 5 times 8. That's not my answer. I still have to get the angle, and every time you get an angle, we second, and this is law of cosine, so second cosine, second answer. And alpha is going to be 48.51 degrees. So alpha is 48.51 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to go find another angle. I'm going to go find cosine of beta, and I'm going to use that formula at the top of the paper. A squared plus c squared minus b squared all over 2 times a times c. And notice that I forgot a 2 up here. We'll add that in. Okay, so cosine of beta. It says take a squared, so 6 squared, plus c squared minus b squared all over 2 times a times c. Okay, so let's practice typing that in our calculator again. We'll type in the numerator first, 6 squared plus 8 squared minus 5 squared divided by parentheses 2 times 6 times 8. And we're going to remember, because I'm looking for an angle, I'm going to second cosine, second answer, and I get 38.62 degrees. 38.62 degrees. To get my last angle, I just have to remember that all my angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So I add the 2 that I have, and then I subtract it from 180. So I have 48.51 plus 38.62. So all I have to do is take 180 minus that answer, and my missing angle for gamma, it's 92.87 degrees. Okay, so again, number 15 is going to work just like that also. When you get down to 17, 19, and 23, these 3 problems are just like number 9. So the first thing we have to do on 17 is I have to go find my missing side. They give me A, they give me B, so I'm going to go find C. So the formula for C squared says take A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of gamma. So I'm going to type that in my calculator, just typing in exactly what we see. 3 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 3 times 4 times cosine of 40. And we're going to be tempted to say we're done, but remember that's c squared. So I still have to take the square root of my answer. So c is equal to 2.57. All right, so now I have to go find my angle. I can find alpha or beta. I'm going to choose to find alpha. Cosine alpha equals, my formula at the top says you take b squared plus c squared. So 4 squared plus 2.57 squared. And it says to do, let's see, that was 4 squared. So it's b squared plus c squared minus a squared, which is 3, all divided by 2 times 4 times 2.57. All right, so let's go type it in again. So 4 squared plus 2.57 squared minus 3 squared, don't forget that that's a minus, divided by parentheses, don't forget your parentheses, 2 times 4 times 2.57. And I get 0.6617. We're going to remember that we're going to second cosine, second answer, and we get 48.57. So alpha equals 48.57 degrees. So I know what C is, I know what alpha is, I know what gamma is, so to find my missing one, to find beta, we're going to add our angles. Remember I have 48.57 and 40. I'm going to subtract those from 180. So 48.57 plus my 40, my original angle. I take that and subtract it from 180. So my missing angle is 91.43 degrees. And you're going to do the exact same thing for 19 and 23. Okay, on the back, I got rid of 25, 27, 29, and 31. You need to look at number 13 from the front. Just like those, you're going to plug into your equations and get your missing angles. And then I want you to try the word problem, 33, 37A and B, 39A, and all of 41. And bring your questions to class tomorrow. Okay, I hope this helped.